Talking about wildfires now, Governor Spencer Cox, along with Representative Celeste Malloy, are touring the devastation from the Monroe Canyon Fire. The governor has declared a state of emergency as fires continue to grow. That executive order unlocks state resources to protect homes, water, and livestock.
Nearly 700 wildfires have burned more than 114,000 acres this year, most of them human caused. The Monroe Canyon Fire alone has scorched more than 37,000 acres now, forcing evacuations and knocking out power. Our Brian Schnee joins us live with more now on the visit from Governor Cox today and what is next after the state of emergency declaration. Brian?
Well, just touching on some of the numbers that you just threw out, Ron, out of that 700, the governor mentioning this today, a lot of those they've been able to catch really small. Monroe Canyon is an exception to what I just mentioned. The fire actually starting to show a little activity on the south side right now. We are in downtown Monroe, looking directly south from town, and that area has been pretty active to start the day. Now the opposite side of the fire, over towards Burrville, which is still evacuated, has multiple air tankers working on it right now. This area has been very volatile, specifically that northeast side. The fire last night, as you'll see in some of this video here, pushed all the way up to SR 24, forcing the closure of that road, forcing fire crews to run backfiring operations off of that road to essentially fight the fire with fire. What's remarkable is we drove SR 24 from one side of the fire to the other yesterday, and that fire was probably 1.5 miles away from the road. Just shows the immediate erratic fire behavior that popped up not in the heat of the day, but towards the tail end of the afternoon and the early evening hours. You mentioned the governor is here. We spoke with him this morning. He said a lot of things. I'm going to paraphrase one thing here. Don't screw around with this. Don't screw around with that. He's referring to many flammable things, such as campfires and open flames. But here's another thing he had to say today.
I haven't begged in a long time. I'm begging people right now to please exercise extreme caution. One spark and we could have another fire just like this, and that means shrinking resources, right? We're able to throw everything at this one because we don't have other major fires in the state right now, but the only way to prevent that from happening is for people to make really, really smart decisions and avoid the dumb ones.
Fortunately, SR 24 back open right now with pilot vehicles, so if you have to get from one side to the other, you can do that. Maybe just expect a little delay if you're heading that direction. Another thing about the structures that have been impacted, there's a lot of cabin homes and smaller communities up on Monroe Mountain and the surrounding areas. They are hoping to get into some of those areas today to get a further assessment of what has actually been burned. But a credit to our fire crews, they have saved far more properties and values than have burned despite the fire activity. Back here live in Monroe, looking at kind of that smoke starting to billow up as we get in towards the heat of the day. And again, this fire showing off on the southern side and on the northeast side, which is where they're starting to see increased fire activity again today. There's always the chance that SR 24 will close in the afternoon and evening hours. It's now been 2 days in a row that that road has closed, and it was closed again overnight. So we'll keep an eye on all these situations here as it continues to work itself out through the heat of the day here in the afternoon, and the wind is starting to pick up again here in central Utah. We'll have updates coming up at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock tonight right here on 2 News. Reporting live in Monroe, Brian Schnee, KUTV 2 News.
All right, Brian, thank you very much for that.
All right, meanwhile, power is restored to most of Wayne County. Garcane Energy says crews were able to make some temporary repairs to power lines. They say there are lines that have been destroyed by fire, and they are now bringing in 5 large generators to the county. They will set them up, switch power to the generators, and then begin the job of replacing damaged power poles.